In today's video, I'll be talking about everything you guys need to know about the new tower troop, the Dagger Dutchess, coming to the game on April 1st. I'll be showing you guys her stats, and then I'll be directly comparing her to the Cannoneer and the Princess Tower. So between those three tower troops, you can see which is better in a lot of different situations, and then I'll show you guys a full game with her too. And just a reminder, in case you guys didn't hear, you are able to get the Dagger Dutchess for free. There's a tab that you click on where you claim her, similar to the Little Prince. And remember, you're able to use magic items now to upgrade the tower troops, including the Dagger Dutchess. You can also occasionally find her in tower troop chests, but keep in mind, because she's a legendary, you won't get her very often. And now let's directly compare her stats to the other two tower troops, and then after this, I'll show you some interactions between the three and show that she fares better in a lot of situations. So as you can see, she has more hit points than both the Princess Tower and the Cannoneer at 3,204. She deals more damage than the Princess Tower. She deals 153 damage, but she does deal significantly less than the Cannoneer, which deals 422. Now, her maximum DPS is at a whopping 437, which is significantly more than both the Princess and the Cannoneer. But keep in mind, her minimum DPS is only 93, which is going to be noticeably less than the Princess Tower and way less than the Cannoneer. And if we take a look here at this chart comparing the tower troop damage over time, we can see at the beginning, the Duchess is dealing way more damage than both the Cannoneer and the Princess Tower in the first few seconds, and then eventually the Cannoneer catches up and it starts getting more value in dealing more damage than the Duchess, and then after quite some time, after 20 seconds or so passes, the Princess Tower eventually starts to be dealing more damage than the Duchess. The reason for this is because the Duchess can only have up to 8 knives at one time, so at the beginning, the initial burst, she's releasing them very quickly, which is why the DPS is so high and the hit time is so low, but then as she's reloading and having to wait a bit before throwing, the DPS and hit time are way worse. Alright, let's get into some interactions where the Duchess is way better than the Princess Tower. So against the wall breakers, way better, against the miner, way better, and then after this, I'll also show you some clips comparing her to the Cannoneer and the Princess Tower, both of them at the same time, because there's just a lot of scenarios where one-on-one against one unit, she is significantly better, as you're seeing so far. Even against tanks like Baby Dragon, she is way better than the Princess Tower. Even swarmies like the Witch. So you guys can see from this, it seems like in a lot of situations, she is better than the Princess Tower. But the question is she going to be overall better than the Cannoneer too? Skelly Drags 2, Firecracker doesn't even get a shot. Hog Rider, a pretty tanky card, she fares better against than the Princess Tower, especially because she has more health too. And then swarmy cards like the Skarmy, she's also going to be better against, and the Sparky only gets one shot against her. Now let's show a couple with the Cannoneer included. As you guys can see, she is way better against the Goblin Drill than both the Princess Tower and the Cannoneer, so yet another interaction that goes in favor of the Dagger Dutchess. Another is the Battle Ram, which we're going to be seeing a lot more of, obviously, because it's getting an evolution this month, and as you can see, against it, it does the best compared to the Princess Tower and Cannoneer. Now I'll show you guys a full game with the Dagger Dutchess so you can see her in a variety of different interactions and against a lot of different cards, so you can kind of get a feel for what she's good against, what she isn't, you know, the timing of things, because again, at the very start when she first shoots, she's going to be very strong, and then over time, she's going to be worse once she's thrown all the knives. Now, this isn't in a meta deck. As you can see, both of the decks aren't super meta, but I figured this is better anyway because we don't exactly know what deck she's going to pair well in anyway, but in this game you will see the Evolved Battle Ram, which is the new evolution. And actually, this 2.6 looking deck with the Battle Ram instead of the Hog might actually be kind of meta, because the Evolved Battle Ram looks pretty strong. And another thing too to keep in mind is the Monk. That's actually why I wanted to show this game specifically, because the Monk Reflection, kind of interesting to look at as well against the Dagger Dutchess, because I feel like it's the type of thing where once the Dagger Dutchess is in her first stage, if you're able to pop that Monk ability on top and she locks on, you're going to reflect so much damage back, it's going to be absolutely massive. But if she's in the later phase where she's shooting very slow, then the ability isn't going to be as good. So that's another thing to look out for. So Musketeer coming in against the Bandit here, and it's just going to take so long to get used to all these different interactions. Like, you're going to have to figure out, okay, do I have to overcommit on this? Is the Duchess going to be fine against it? All that type of thing. So something like a Goblin Gang, for example, I feel like she's going to be quite good against, because she's just really good against Swarmies. And then see that Evolved Battle Ram there? At the beginning, it got kind of melted. That Ram there got dealt with so easily, but then on the flip side, the E-Barbs, look at how slow she's shooting against them. So it's just like there's different stages. At the start, she's OP, and then she sucks. So it's really something where you're going to want to have support with her. I feel like maybe she'll be very good inside of decks that have a building, which is what we're seeing with the Cannoneer. A lot of decks that the Cannoneers used him have a Tesla or a cannon, something along those lines, just to help it out, and you're just getting a bit more DPS because of how slow it shoots. This is kind of the same concept. Even though she's shooting very fast at the beginning, once she's shooting slow, she really needs some assistance, and she's not able to deal with stuff on her own anymore. So I'm just curious to see what type of things pair well with her. This Mega Knight push coming in, kind of giving some trouble here. Fireball wipes it all out, though, so the tower does stay alive. Fireball ended up missing the Musketeer there. That's pretty funny. So Battle Ram coming in the other lane. I'm pretty sure that Dark Gob wasn't even needed to ensure that it doesn't connect. So let's see this Goblin Gang here getting dealt with for the most part with the help of the Ice Spirit distracting a tiny bit. So like I said, against bait, significantly better. It seems to be against heavier things it's a bit worse against, but even the heavier things, like you guys saw at the very beginning, I showed you an interaction where it was the mini P.E.K.K.A and the Baby Dragon, where it's like mini tanks, where the Duchess is still better against them. So I really feel like it's not until you're against really, really heavy units, such as maybe a Giant or a Golem, for example, that's where you're really going to see her lacking after that initial rapid fire phase anyway. So Mega Knight push getting dealt with all right here with the help of the Ice Spirit and the Musketeer. But as you can see, when she starts shooting slow, she's pretty dang bad. This is why I think this might be a tower troop different than the Cannoneer and the Princess Tower with this unique ability. Here's my prediction. This is going to be the type of tower troop where she's going to be very good, I feel like, in single elixir and oftentimes in double elixir, but then I feel like the more stuff that's happening on the map, so when it's triple elixir and there's more stuff she needs to shoot at, she's going to be worse. Technically speaking, when you think about it that way, the longer the match goes on, the worse she becomes. So I wonder if she's going to be good in decks that often have quick games where you're winning in the first 3 or 4 minutes, because it seems like there's a big opportunity for the opponent to come back if you're winning in single or double and they start piling on units. They could easily overwhelm you. So that's the new Dagger Dutchess Tower Troop. What do you guys think? Personally, I think it actually looks pretty fun, and that timer aspect is a bit creative. It's the first time we've seen something like that in the game, so I'm curious to see how it ends up shaping the meta. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed.